I keep wondering how long we're going to go along until we all understand that if we don't do the work, nobody eats. Have you noticed that it's getting harder and harder to get people to work? Nobody wants to work. And it's interesting how many of those jobs that the people complaining wouldn't do themselves. Nobody wants to do that job that I don't also want to do. What's wrong? Don't you know your place in society? It's better than flipping burgers, right? We have this idea that there are people who are worthless. Worthless. Not worthless. We need them a lot, but we need us a lot. But we don't think of them as us. We think of them as them if we're in the company part of culture. And so they're doing the jobs that we wouldn't want to do if we're in the professional managerial class. So then those jobs stop getting done, or they don't get done enough. There aren't enough people showing up for enough hours to get those essential jobs done. And we know they're essential because we can't find our shit on the shelves when those jobs aren't getting done. And even our fellow essential workers, like a truck driver, that's an essential worker. If the truck driver stops trucking, then everyone else stops eating and getting their medicine and everything else they use. And then the truckers notice when their fellow essential warehouse workers aren't showing up. Loads get canceled, loads are delayed, and there gets to be kind of a morale problem. People are saying, well, I showed up, and life sucks at work already bad enough without you not showing up. That makes it even worse, because then the rest of us have to pick up the slack. And so it goes down the chain and up the chain. And therein lies an opportunity. Because if the people at the bottom of the chain disrupt each other enough that even the ones who want to work can't work, because you can't drive a truck if there isn't anything in your truck, and there aren't enough people to get every phase of the operation carried out right now. So that's just going to put a stop to everything. And then the big point is, unless, and I think we can have two things. I think one thing is there's going to be pressure on wages. The jobs that just have to get done. I think the lack of interest in those jobs, the lack of enthusiasm for them is going to push wages up. And if you push wages up at the bottom, a lot of us know the wages go up all the way up. And so that's one thing. The other thing it can do is improve the quality of the jobs and of life overall. So if you have fewer hours, that was something the labor movement achieved in a bygone era. And working conditions, safety conditions, the whole thing, the whole culture at work, and then how things are outside of work. Like, do you have the medicine you need? Do you have the medical care you need? Can you afford it? Can you afford time-wise? Because if you have wages but you don't have time, it won't help. So there we have the two parts of it. We've got the wages, and then we've got everything else that makes life livable, more livable, less livable. So if certain employers are taking care of both of those things, their operations will continue or even thrive. But if we don't take care of the workers, and not just the essential workers, we have to take care of the managers too. Their hours, their benefits, their health insurance, their everything. All of the workers, all the way up, the bottom 90%, the bottom 99%. And so it can be a good thing, even though it looks terrible and scary. It looks really scary. But if we figure out that, especially the bottom of the labor force, figures out that they can dictate to everyone what's going to happen, then we need to work to figure out how everyone can get the word and get some solidarity going to know what to ask for. And if you know what to ask for, then you also need a little bit of cooperation with each other, like when people do a sound, or when they do a wildcat strike and the union leaders aren't for it, and the union rank and file just say, hey, we're going to do it anyway, like happened in a few red states where there were no protections whatever, and teachers did it. They just said, the rank and file teachers just said, this is a bad situation, enough is enough, we're going to fix this, and they did, and you heard nothing about it because it wasn't in the news very much. That kind of thing, wildcatting, can be a really good thing going forward. We need to figure out our networks of communication and how to get around the algorithm that Russell Brand is always talking about, because that algorithm is real. The powers don't want this kind of cross-pollination and communication amongst the rank and file peasants, and they're going to work hard to keep that from happening. But we can work just as hard to make sure it happens. We're pretty clever, and we have the devices. We just have to figure out how to work together to get through all the blockades. I've got this speaker going in here. It's really loud now when the truck is idling, but when the truck is moving down the road, especially up a hill, you can barely hear it. The music is meditation music, and I always have tunes in my head, so it's difficult. Let me turn this off though. You can see how much quieter it is with the engine just idling on the truck. I use that meditation music not because I want to hear meditation music, but because I don't want to hear all the tunes that are chattering in my head. So that really kind of filters it all out. And then for my mind, that's about as quiet as my mind ever gets musically. It may be some kind of schizophrenia. I've thought of that. But anyway, yes, I am batshit crazy. Yes, we do need to start a revolution. No, the windmills are not spinning. I don't know if you can tell that. Coming down up towards the hill, I don't know if they were spinning or not. I barely got the camera on in time. I feel like I'm on the right track when I stay calm. I'll end with that thought. It just feels like no matter what happens to me, if I can manage that. And I was editing more than a week ago, editing this morning, and that was the theme there. And it's so true. If I can stay calm, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what happens, because the only thing that really matters is how I feel about it. If I can just choose my emotions, I don't even need to be in the living, breathing world. I just need those emotions. Go right to the emotions. It just saves you from a lot of problems waiting for things to happen. You don't have to wait. You could just choose your emotions right now.
And now it's about 2 weeks after this one, and the theme is about workers being disgruntled and not wanting to work. And I was just needing to use the bathroom, so I walked down I'm at door 14, so I walked down to the end, the zero end, and there were two disgusting outhouses. But then I noticed the door that looked like it was supposed to go up to the receiver's area, but it said no truck drivers beyond this point. So it just happened that I met a middle-aged white male in North Carolina coming out of that door, and he could see that I wanted to go in there, but he wouldn't hold it open for me. I said, "Oh yeah, no truck drivers pass here, right?" "Yes," he said, "but if you need to talk to somebody, then..." And I said, "It's okay, I just wanted to find a good bathroom." And I'm sure he was able to use a good bathroom. And if you're thinking about it, I almost wanted to take out my cell phone and video them, but they would have been nervous probably. By them, I mean there were two white gentlemen out enjoying the cool North Carolina morning. One was on his cell phone. They were just chilling. I guess they were probably on break, but they looked like managers. That's what I was referring to, because they looked very comfy. They looked like the people that we need to be addressing here if we want to get all together and get things to be better for all of us. Because right now we definitely have an us and them when it comes to essential workers and comfy people. Yeah, everything's fine. You have a bathroom, but you should look inside of that bathroom. You should try to breathe in there long enough to take a dump. I dare you. Well, no, I don't want to do your job. I mean, that's obvious, right? I'm not that kind of a person. I went to college. I was raised in the right kind of family, in the right kind of neighborhood. I don't want to do your job, and I don't want to use your outhouse. That's for you. So figure it out, and then everything will be fine.